Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our Friday night Smackdown review. And man, the number one wrestling show in America today continues to earn that title. What an episode this was. Really all centered around the main event, Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship. If Daniel Bryan loses, he has to leave SmackDown forever. And I thought they did a great job building it up the other night, fielding the entire roster more or less for their predictions, even some legends. I know Booker T commented on it, who they thought were going to win, who they thought was, I should say, going to win the Universal Championship match. We also got an Intercontinental Championship match. We got slight build to Bianca Bayley for WrestleMania Backlash. Another Aleister Black vignette, and more. So we've got a lot to talk about this episode. I enjoyed the SmackDown. Again, I still think it's strong in its spot as the number one wrestling show in America. Partner, how do you feel about it?
Absolutely, yeah. This show was solid. The main event was spectacular, though. Like the show itself, nothing really caught my attention too much. Bianca opening the show got my attention, and then Aleister Black's vignette got my attention. But nothing got my attention more and for a more sustained amount of time than this main event. This was so good.
Absolutely, absolutely. With that said, let's get right into our first segment. Heat of the night. I got nothing. This SmackDown was white hot enough. I got nothing I really want to complain about. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Same.
All right, let us get into our Friday night SmackDown review. We start with Bianca Belair, to your point, and she's more or less trying to get the crowd high, like welcome to the hottest, dopest, everything with EST that's good about it, show, SmackDown. And then Dirty Dogs, Rude and Ziggler interrupt. And they, start to cut Bianca off. And it's like, oh, well, if you're, opening SmackDown, you got to do it with the best. You got to do it with the Tag Team Champions. Then Street Profits come out, are kind of laughing at Rude and Ziggler for daring to interrupt the SmackDown Women's Champion, the main event of WrestleMania. Then Bayley interrupts. And she comes right into the ring. I like that the women occupied the ring while the men kind of occupied the periphery. I thought that was a nice touch. The outside of the ring, if you will. And Bayley is just laughing at Bianca like she did last week. Bianca slaps her this time. It devolves into a brawl. And then from that, we go into our first matchup, a 6-person tag team match. Yep. Bianca and Street Profits versus Bayley and, Ziggler and Rude. Yep. And babyfaces win. And it was a pretty dominant win towards the end of it.
I was actually a little bit surprised when I saw Bianca hitting the KOD on Bayley for the win, too. I was like, damn, they're really going to have her do Bayley like this already?
To be fair, partner, she didn't pin Bayley for the win. She did hit the KOD on Bayley. You're right about that, but the winning pin was actually Ford on Rude with the frog splash.
Okay, I saw the KOD, and I was like, damn, they're really having Bianca beat Bayley this quickly. And then I kind of, zoned out. But yeah, even still, it's kind of crazy though, that they would kind of give that away this early into their little mini feud that they might just be starting just now.
I will say, to your point, even though Bianca didn't pin Bayley, I do think it was interesting that they had Bianca overwhelm Bayley before the matchup, because she is the babyface here. And again, I'm not saying every babyface needs to look weak against every heel, but I'm curious now how Bayley's going to get momentum next week, which I think is that the go-home show before WrestleMania Backlash? It might be.
No,
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think, isn't Backlash on May 12th or something like that? Or May...
You might be right.
May 10th, maybe?
No, it couldn't be May 10th because that's a Monday.
It's the 16th.
Okay. So we have
a couple
2 more SmackDowns then.
Yeah,
okay. Well,
I don't know if you saw, but apparently next week's SmackDown is going to be an old school SmackDown of some kind.
Yeah, I'm ambivalent about it because if they want to do an old school aesthetic, I'm honestly okay with that. But if you're talking old school, hey, let's have every other segment be an old fart. Yeah, I'm out.
Hard pass.
Even though I will say it is going to have what I'm assuming is going to be the main event in a WrestleMania rematch between Rollins and Cesaro that I'm pretty psyched for.
Yeah.
We know that's happening next week. But yeah, Bianca and Profits get the win. After that, we get Daniel Bryan in an interview, and he more or less says, hey, because, he gets broached about the Universal title match tonight and the stakes. He's like, I've made my peace with this match. Roman Reigns made the match to me. This is what I've always wanted, just a fair opportunity, one-on-one against Roman Reigns. I've got it tonight, and, I made him tap out before, and tonight I'm going to make him tap out again. So, Bryan, completely in his zen, completely at peace, totally focused. After that, we begin the whole, sizzle reel of, superstars commenting on who they think is going to win the main event. The only two that I'm going to highlight here are Rollins and Cesaro, because that's how we got the challenge made. Rollins challenged Cesaro while he was giving his thoughts, and Rollins actually picked Bryan to win. That's what really fascinated me. Cesaro later in his prediction would accept Rollins' challenge, and he'd also say that he picked Bryan to win, and then he's going to be the next Universal Champion when he beats Bryan at WrestleMania Backlash. So I guess we knew where Cesaro's head was at. Because Bryan even did say in his interview when he wins, Cesaro would get the first title shot. So they've really pushed that Cesaro's right on that cusp to get that fucking title shot.
I love that Cesaro and Nakamura are both kind of being teased as being right at the cusp there.
Yeah, I love it. Because I think they're two perfect, undercard challengers. Cesaro looking more uppercard than Nakamura at the moment, unfortunately. I wish they both were, but... I think those could be two excellent defenses for Reigns' reign. Again, the best Universal Champion that title's ever had. That said, we then get a Nia, Shayna, and Reginald segment. They're about to be interviewed about their non-title tag team matchup against Tamina and Natalya when they actually get attacked, sneak attacked by Tamina and Natalya, wanting to get a leg up on the champions. We then go from that to the tag match itself. Really not much to say here. Tamina and Natalya get the win, although I will say it's really interesting to me, in a good way, that Tamina is being spotlighted as kind of the heavy of the tag team and the one making shit happen, because she pinned Shayna here with the Superfly Splash. So, good on Tamina. Still hoping she gets that first championship in her WWE tenure, even if it is alongside Natalya. And yeah, they're... really seem to be teasing that the tag team champions are kind of breaking apart and that their reign might be coming to an end. And honestly, with Money in the Bank being so close, I feel like the timing couldn't be better. Let's break them up and let's really build Shayna up as a contender. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, we literally just had a Q&A question asking if we could get Shayna the hell away from Nia.
And it might happen. And that's the thing, man. The way I see it, with it happening again this close to the pay-per-view, maybe Shayna will be in it, and maybe we could start looking at her as a favorite. Because if I remember correctly, last year when Asuka won Money in the Bank, if it wasn't for Becky's pregnancy, from what I understood, it was the plan to have Shayna win that ladder match. So maybe now they're just going to pull the trigger and just get her the hell away from Nia. I can only hope. And
dude, wasn't there a rumor that they were originally planning to have Shayna beat Becky at Mania for the title, and that at some point Vince just changed his mind on it?
Yeah, I believe that was a rumor as well. Yes, I distinctly remember that. So, I don't know. Maybe they have cold feet with Shayna, but maybe this is the time they'll commit and pull the trigger, because something's got to give here, is my point. But, yeah, Natalya and Tamina win. Next up, again, I already said I'm not going to talk about any other predictions of the main event, because it was just stuff throughout the night. We get a Ray and Dominic interview. This is basic as shit. Dominic's like, I've always idolized my dad, and he was like a superhero to me, and tag alongside him, it's like a comic book. You fucking dork. Jesus Christ. And Ray's like, I've done a lot in my career, but being the first ever father-son tag team champions, that would be incredible. I mean, guys, you done knew. I've said it over and over and over. They're doing this. Enough said. Next up, another Aleister Black vignette. How do you feel about this one this week? Because I already know how you feel about Aleister being a heel, but do you have anything new you want to say here?
Admittedly, I did not actually catch all of this. I just saw that it happened and that he was carrying some kind of book, and I was interested in that, but I didn't hear most of it because I had the TV volume down low.
Yeah, I think the book has to do with stories from his father or something like that. The vignette this week though was more or less about I guess him going to school, because the title of it was Reality. And he said, everybody, the perfect prom date, the perfect college, this was their reality. And, Aleister's like, that's just a bunch of lies, and it's an illusion, and this and that. So pretty much, I guess, railing against people that believe that illusory symbols of status, like being the most popular kid or going to the best college, actually matters. And, yeah, you know, it's fine. I mean, it was comprehensible. I understood it. It wasn't like Bray Wyatt promo soup, you know, when he was the cult leader. But I'm just curious, like, in what in-ring capacity Alistair's going to return in. Is it just going to be a squash match? Is, like, you going to have a target? You know, what's going to happen here? But I am excited to see him on TV. So, you know what? Even if he is a heel, and I still think he's a money baby face, I'll take him as I can get him at that point. So congratulations, WWE. You broke me. You wore me down. When it comes to Aleister Black, my standards right now are very low. Just get him on TV, and you're doing a great job. Yeah. So after that vignette, we get a Big E interview, and he is fucking hyped for this shit.
Yes. I saw he had another match with Apollo tonight. Holy shit, this feels like a feud that never ends.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Strangely enough, I'm not tired of it. I'm really proud of the work both these guys have put in to make the Intercontinental title worthwhile, and so by extension, making their feud feel worthwhile. I think it's been great stuff. And he says, you know, tonight he gets his baby back. He's going to beat Apollo. He's going to take it home with him. He's going to put it in the front seat, strap on its seatbelt for safety, and he's going to drive on off. And, like, yeah, I love Big E's energy. He said, this is my time. This is my time. And he's feeling himself, so he comes out. After he comes out, we get a little cut-in of New Day again predicting the main event. That's whatever. Then we get Cruz versus Big E for the Intercontinental title. Again, really fun matchup. I feel like these guys definitely have a chemistry with each other and a rhythm with each other. It's just how you keep the matchups fresh. And again, the story here was, yes, Apollo's the champion, but Big E very clearly, as the babyface, is the better wrestler because the only reason Apollo is still the champion is because of Commander Aziz.
Yes.
Who, you know, pulls Big E out, starts to assault him. Then Kevin Owens comes out, and he tries, you know, his hand at, like, taking Aziz out. And, you know, then Aziz gets control of Owens. Then Big E comes back in, but then Apollo comes back in. And actually, no, even before that, Sami Zayn comes out of nowhere and Haluva kicks Owens and takes him out. So the baby faces get cleared out of the ring. Apollo's feeling pretty dominant. Sammy's feeling himself after that Haluva kick. And, you know, he's staring at the Intercontinental title while Apollo and Aziz are talking to each other. And Apollo's just like, hey, give me back my championship. And Sammy's like, hey, man, hey, that's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. Let's all be cool. Let's all be cool, all right? We're all friends here. See, look. And then he goes and he raises Aziz's arm and Apollo's arm. But then Aziz hits the Nigerian nail on Sammy. And Apollo just looks at him like, good job. He was trash. And so Apollo stands tall. Very clearly a fatal four-way happening here at WrestleMania Backlash. And I think given that it's really four guys that are workhorses in their own right, it could be a lot of fun. Because you have Big E and Apollo with a lot of history. You have Sammy and Kevin with a lot of history. And they all have the commonality of being, you know, either, well, in Apollo's case, current, but Big E, Kevin, and Sammy, all former Intercontinental champions.
Yep.
So,
although,
great, you know,
are we completely certain that Sammy is willing to admit that he's no longer Intercontinental champion?
No, and he shouldn't have to. And I'm still waiting for that documentary, damn it.
Yeah.
Miz predicts the main event, of course, being a grade A doucher. He goes with Reigns. After that, again, we get Cesaro, which I already talked about. Paul Heyman gets interviewed, and man, Paul Heyman really took the piss out of the Yes movement.
Dude,
God damn.
I saw a lot of praise for this Heyman promo on Twitter. I didn't actually catch it, but I saw a lot of praise for it.
I mean, he was building Bryan up. He was saying, you know, should he have never broken into the sports entertainment industry? Yes. Did he make? Yes. Did he make the most of it? Yes. And going on and on, building up Bryan's accolades. Will he beat Roman Reigns? No, he will not beat Roman Reigns. And just going on about, like, how this is his final Smackdown, how Roman Reigns is going to retain the championship. I mean, Heyman's earning his fucking money, I'll tell you what. He's really building Roman up. Like, ain't nobody beating our tribal chief. So fire fucking promo by Heyman. Really, again, being with Roman has rejuvenated my interest in him as a talker, and he's just been killing it every fucking time. After that, we get Corbin predicting the main event, and God, he looked like such a douche. But then again, who else but Corbin? And then we get the main event. We can't just talk about the main event, oh no, because they did a video package. Bryan came out. Again, they built this up stupendously tonight. But then Roman Reigns comes out.
Yep.
But it's different because it's not that usual Shield theme that's become so iconic.
It's not that. It's different.
It is a new theme, and I gotta say, I can't wait for WWE Music to come out with a clean version, because it hit a little different at first, and like I told Ashton, I think it's going to be one that I'm going to fall madly in love with the more I listen to it. I just think I was so taken aback by it appearing now of all times rather than like at Mania or something, because normally at the big events you brace yourself for the new theme, right? But I wasn't ready for this, so like I was still processing. But yeah, I can't wait to have the ability to just replay it and really enjoy it without the commentary over or Thunderdome over. But you said you love it already. You want to say anything about this theme?
I'm like, dude, it's like the change to Bayley's theme. Like the new Bayley theme to me was like an instant like, damn, this is dope. And Roman's almost reminds me, it's like along the same lines as her and Seth's themes. Like just like the epicness and making them feel glorious and like regal almost. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, dude, it really is befitting this character, I think, in this title reign. Yep. And again, best Universal Champion that title has had. And then when we get to the matchup itself, good Lord, where to even start? Oh, actually, I know where I'd like to start, just as like some bit of outside commentary. I am so fucking happy they did a straight up matchup, because I was so afraid that it was going to be Jey Uso again, which I would have been more forgiving of, because, you know, that is part of Roman's heel gimmick, is like, oh, I need Uso to bail me out. I even thought Edge might have done a run-in, because he's been so salty towards Bryan this whole time. So what better way to stick it to the guy than to take his whole SmackDown career? But dude,
I literally thought Edge was going to show up in this match just to attack Roman to get rid of Bryan from SmackDown. Yeah,
or I was waiting for like a ref bump in the match and be like, okay, Edge is going to come in here, spear Bryan, Roman drapes the arm over, 3 count. Yep. But dude, everything they did here was perfection. The only thing that could have made this match better, in all honesty, was if it was commercial free. That's the only thing they could have done.
That's fair.
To really
That's a
perfect
very
it.
fair point. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think when you have the emotion and the high intensity, like watching a match like this reminded me years ago. I mean, my God, well over a decade. When Kane put his mask on the line against Triple H's World Heavyweight title on Raw. And I remember being a little kid, staying up on Raw because it was fucking summertime, so I could do that. And man, the emotion, the intensity, like, oh, is Kane going to do it? Am I going to see a world champion crowned live on TV? Or is he going to live that? Like, this had that same kind of energy, like, oh man, is Bryan going to pull it off? Even though, to be fair, I didn't have nearly the ignorance now as I did back then, so I'm like, no, Roman's probably going to get it. But the idea that they did it straight up, you know, I really fucking like that. And can I just say, too, they finally do it straight up, where Bryan risks everything. I think this retroactively vindicates everything else he's been involved in for all these months. Because everybody that was like, why is Bryan in the storyline, or he's had his chances? To me, it was all leading up to this. Roman beating him definitively for fucking everything. So, just looking at it as a whole, this match was perfect.
Yep.
I loved everything they fucking did here. I feel like the near falls were believable. I love that Bryan worked over the arm of Roman, which would normally be more of a heel tactic, but you know you're behind it because you know how unstoppable Reigns is, and you actually applaud the babyface for using his intellect. Reigns is aggro as fuck and just overwhelming to Bryan, and like his facial expressions and his body language, like what the fuck do I have to do to beat this dude? Like what is even going on right now? Him missing that spear through the barricade was a great spot. And again, that was one of those moments where I was like, man, I wish this was commercial free, because they cut to commercial immediately after that. And I'm like, no, that's a hope spot where you're thinking like, oh man, is Bryan going to get it back in the ring and pin him or some shit? Like, I don't know. I feel like it, you know, they really, really should adopt that Lucha Underground strategy. You take a final long commercial break before the bell even rings, and then you just let them do the damn thing. That said, though, I mean, what were some of your favorite moments in this match, man? Because I know you said this hooked you in.
Yeah. I think the moment where Roman went to spear Bryan and Bryan moved and Roman speared the barricade was like the biggest ball tease in this match, because they went to commercial after that, and when we came back from commercial, Bryan was just in the ring, like Bryan just did like a headbutt, and Roman was back in the ring. I was like, oh my God, is Bryan going to win this by count out? Like, I had real anticipation there, and they ruined it with a commercial break. And then the spot where Bryan hit the knee plus, I really wish that they didn't make it so obvious that Roman was going to his foot on the rope, because I feel like that was a moment that I could have bought into if Bryan had hooked the outside leg, but he hooked the inside leg and it made it too obvious. Then when Bryan had the S-lock locked in and he did the thing where he turned it into almost like a crucifix just for the sake of rolling it back to the middle of the ring, that was awesome. I think the biggest mistake, like just from a kayfabe standpoint, the biggest mistake Bryan made was working over the right arm and then locking in the yes lock also on the right arm, because then Roman had his full strength of his left arm to be able to break out of it. If he would have gotten the yes lock locked in on that left arm, I don't think Roman would have been able to break out of it. I think that would have been the match.
Yeah. I can see where you're coming from there for sure. I like that Daniel Bryan kicked out of a spear. Again, it reminds me of that Kane Triple H matchup where Kane actually kicked out of a pedigree, and that was a huge deal back then when Triple H and his golden shovel.
The pedigree is one of the most historically protected moves in WWE history.
So when Kane kicked out, I freaked the fuck out, and when Bryan kicked out here, I smiled because I'm like, oh man, they're really showing that like the higher the stakes, the higher the adrenaline. The higher the adrenaline, the more like you can do the inconceivable. Because Reigns' spear is very protected. I love the finish where Bryan passes out because it's like, yeah, that is a clean loss for Bryan, but like he went out fighting, and I love that.
He didn't quit.
He didn't quit. No, he did not quit. He did not quit, and
his body
Reigns
gave up before he was willing to.
But Reigns don't give a fuck. He's like, I got him off my show. That's all I wanted.
Yep.
And then after the match, when I say that everything was perfect, Reigns goes. He gets 2 steel chairs. I guess he's like, hey, if Edge ain't gonna show up, I'll do his bit for him.
I'll do the concerto, yeah.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, man, he gets him. He's about to set Bryan up. Cesaro's music hits. He runs out. And he actually nails an uppercut to Roman. I freak out a bit because I'm like, okay, now they're having physical contact. Yep. That's huge. Goes to the outside. I thought he was going to check on Bryan and Roman was going to retreat and that was going to be the end of it. Oh no. Smackdown is like, no, you want this match, don't you? Yes, very much. You want it, right? Yes, very much. Yeah, you're going to have to wait. Because Cesaro goes out. He uppercuts the shit out of Roman. Dude, I really cannot wait when it focuses on these two. Because, like, Roman, I think, is afraid of him. Heyman's afraid of him, which he'll sell on Talking Smack. Yep. And Cesaro, week by week, is becoming more believable. He really is, because he nails multiple uppercuts to Reigns. He rocks him. He goes put Roman back in the ring, maybe looking to do more damage. Jey Uso finally shows up. What a great use of Jey Uso. That actually wasn't as predictable, because I actually forgot. When he didn't come out for the whole match, I'm like, oh, we're not going to see him. So I kind of forgot about him in a way.
Again, though, can I just say props to Daniel Bryan for being, like, the only person in Roman's entire title reign to lose to him clean without Uso interference at all.
Dude, this man is the consummate fucking pro. That's why, like, we came to bat for him.
Roman didn't even have to. He didn't even have to cheat. He didn't do anything cheaty. Like, he didn't have to do like the low blow kick out. Nothing. Just straight up, Bryan was that goddamn, giving and I don't even know what the word is, but he was. He literally just let Roman beat him just straight up clean, passed him out.
I mean, bro, I said it a few minutes ago.
Generous,
I say it
that's
again.
What I was looking for, generous.
Yeah, I said it a few minutes ago, and I'll say it again. Given how generous, to use your word, that Bryan was, given how selfless he was in putting Roman over in such a dominant, decisive fashion, with everything on the line in kayfabe to get even more heat on Roman, because now he could say that, the tribal chief stood down the entire Yes Army and killed a whole movement by himself, which would actually be somewhat true because Jey Uso didn't get involved. Like, that retroactively vindicates Bryan's involvement this whole time in Reigns' title reign. Because, like, we all knew it was coming. We all knew it was fucking coming, that Bryan would do this kind of a job for Roman, and here it is. Boy, does it feel good to be right. That's the most reveling I'll probably do all year, so I'm soaking in it. So, Cesaro gets jumped by Jey. Jey restrains him. He ties him up in the ropes. He forces Cesaro to watch. By the way, he made him eat a few super kicks before that as well. Made it even easier to tie him up. And he forces Cesaro to watch as Bryan eats a concerto, and Reigns just stares Cesaro down, talking his shit. I am so fucking ready for this goddamn matchup, but you know something? I honestly, here's what I want as a fan, which I'm making distinct from what I've been predicting, okay? Because Roman even said last week, Cesaro, you don't deserve it. It's a no. It's always going to be no. I want Cesaro to win Money in the Bank. I'm sorry. If a heel Roman Reigns has all this stroke about when he gets to defend the title, there is no reason in kayfabe why he should give Cesaro an opportunity. I want Cesaro to win Money in the Bank as a fan, again, because objectively, I'm still kind of leaning Jey Uso, believe it or not. I want him to win, and then the following SmackDown, he ends the show interrupting a Reigns promo or maybe a post-match, says you, me, SummerSlam, does a clean cash-in, and that's how we get Reigns Cesaro for SummerSlam. Let's fucking go. Let's do it, man. I am so ready for this, and they are building it up so well. Yep. The Reigns character is perfect because he's going to duck and weave Cesaro any way he can. Cesaro, obviously. I mean, we've wanted a one-on-one.
Dude, how much do you want to bet he even pits Cesaro and Nakamura against each other to try and avoid fighting Cesaro?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And then I honestly would have Nakamura win. I want Cesaro to take the scenic route for this. Because here's the thing. If you're a hardcore Cesaro fan, and I know you and I have supported the man a long-ass time, we have waited years for him to get this. What's a few more months? What's a few more months, really, to do it the right fucking way and to give him an amazing story? Because they even did a little snippet when they were recapping Bryan advocating for Cesaro. All these clips of him, winning the armbar and the Cesaro section and all this stuff. Imagine the video package they can make for fucking SummerSlam when it really is centered on Cesaro Reigns. Would be fucking incredible. Would be absolutely fucking incredible. I am 100% here for it. 100%. And him watching that, god damn. I mean, I want Cesaro to beat Reigns now. I want him to beat his ass. I'm actually getting close to the level of investment in Cesaro that I had when Kevin stepped up to Roman Reigns, and I fucking love Kevin Owens. This is amazing. The SmackDown main event scene is fucking dope. My God, man. You can't ask for anything better than this. Oh, my God. Do you have anything you want to say about all this?
I think we covered it, man. I figured this would be a shorter review just because of the fact that we had no negatives, really, to talk about. I think the biggest negative about this show is the, limited and, not enough use of the women. Get Riot Squad on the show at all and stuff like that, but even then, it's as much as I want to see the women's division get used more, when the men's division is on as much fire as it is, it's hard to complain.
It really is. So with that said, let's get into high spots and low shots. I mean, my God, I hate to be that guy, but my low shot, I'm going to go with the low-hanging fruit here, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
He risked it all to win it all, and he didn't win it all. He's gone from he's gone from SmackDown, so I do have to wonder when we'll see him on Raw, or when we'll just see him in a WWE capacity again, because I could see him taking a few weeks off after the Concerto. So Bryan's my low shot. You?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple, too. My low shot's Bayley, just because she was interacting with Bianca in a match for the first time in a little while tonight, and kind of got her ass handed to her, and she's like a prospective title challenger, and it's like, really? I don't know.
Yeah, I've got to say my high spot is Apollo Crews. Kept his title tonight. Commander Aziz is a huge asset, and even if he's got a fatal four-way lurking, I honestly wouldn't sweat it if I was him packing that kind of heat. So Apollo's my high spot. You?
I mean, at this point, it has to be Roman if you're not going to take him. You took the obvious low shot. I'll take the obvious high spot. Roman Reigns just won his first successful title defense that he's ever won as champion currently, as Universal Champion, I believe. Or no, he had a previous run. But it's his first clean, successful title defense without any help, without cheating, just completely, just clean as a whistle. And he in the process, he also got rid of one of his biggest threats. So huge night for Roman.
Yeah, I wanted us to share the main event, friend, because you let me have the low shot of Bryan. I thought I'd let you have that, especially because you loved his theme. I'm like, Ashton can have Roman Reigns tonight.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, friend, anything for you, bud. All right, guys, with that said, this has been Smackdown. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the video as you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely you are to be the top result for Friday night SmackDown reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Be sure to subscribe. Click the bell icon so you never miss any of that TwitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Check out the TwitWoW Patreon. We give all of our price breakdowns and all of our offerings for patrons there. The two offerings that I want to discuss in detail. If you donate $1, you get 2 additional Q&A questions for Q&As that we do every month. For the month of May, Q&A will be falling on the 27th because we do it the last Thursday of every month. And for May, that is the 27th. So for non-Patreon donors, you only get 3 Q&A questions. If you donate $1, though, you get 2 additional questions for a total of 5, when 3 ain't enough. However, speaking of 3, if I were you guys, I would donate the full $3 because you get the 2 additional Q&A questions and you get access to the TwitWoW Discord. It's a great community, very passionate. We talk wrestling, music, just everything pop culture, politics, free talk, and we do Among Us Mondays because we're cool. Hell yeah. So be sure to donate the $3 and get all of that being offered. Beyond that, guys, check out everything we're involved in the description box outside of that, including our 2 Twitter handles. I'm at John_TwitWoW. My pinned tweet is a hub to receive Q&A questions. Ashton's pinned tweet is the TwitWoW schedule for the month. So obviously, we finished out April today. This is the last day of April. To start May, I don't think we have anything this weekend, do we, bro? I think our next
commentary that we know for sure we're going to be doing is Tuesday night NXT review.
All right, then I'm going to keep it simple since the month's rounding out. We'll see you guys Tuesday at 10 for our NXT review. My apologies. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that episode is going to be the street fight for the Women's Tag Team Championships, Ember and Shotzi versus Indy and Candice. Let's see what happens. Until then, guys, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Thanks, as always, for tuning in, and until we see each other again, tune in and peace out.